Hey, this is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and I'm bringing you guys a review of Voltron, Defender of the Universe. Now, for those of you that are familiar with my channel by now, you guys know that I usually will do a first impressions video where I just pretty much talk about the game without any cutscenes and flashy editing and all that stuff. Whereas if I'm doing a review, I'll usually do cutscenes and music and write up the review and read it all professional. But for this game, I really just didn't feel like doing that. I'm kind of feeling a little bit lazy tonight, but I really didn't like this game, which I'm going to get into that here in just a second. But this isn't really a first impressions because I did play the game for a couple hours and I got up to stage 7 or so. So I did see a good portion of the game. I actually played on all five of the characters, so I did get to play on each character. And the main reason why I didn't like this game was the camera. The camera on here is just zoomed so far back, and in some areas it zooms even further back to the point to where you just can't tell what's going on. You can't see the small projectiles that are being shot at you. Now, in this scene that you're watching right here where I'm fighting this boss, you are able to see where I'm at because there's nothing else around. But when you start getting into the areas with a lot of the trees and a lot of the smaller enemies that are shooting the real small projectiles at you, it's almost impossible to just keep track of everything, whether it be your character or where you're being shot from or the actual bullets themselves. So that really makes the game difficult to play, makes it kind of annoying. Now another thing is the game's just kind of boring, to be honest with you. I mean, now this boss fight was actually pretty fun after playing through 3 or 4 stages of just the running around shooting everything kind of deal. But there's so many games in the PlayStation Store that are similar to this that are just better in all aspects. Now, another issue with this game is the trophies. Now, one of the trophies is to beat the game with all 5 of the characters. So essentially, you'll have to beat the game 5 times. Those are always annoying, especially for those that don't like having to play through a game multiple different times like me. The 2 other trophies are actually going to be pretty difficult to get. Now, I know some of you guys are probably like, who cares about trophies? But trophies are important to some people. That's the reason why I'm talking about right here. 2 of the trophies revolve around you actually playing an online stage with 4 other players, and another one involves being the only surviving player online after you finish a stage. Now, the reason why I'm talking about that is I couldn't actually find an online game tonight. I waited for about 20 minutes. I had maybe 1 or 2 people actually jump into the room and then hop back out. And this game just came out tonight, about 4 or 5 hours ago, and I couldn't even get an online game going. So these type of games, it's going to be really difficult unless you have friends that actually pick up the game that you can message to come and join you. It might be pretty difficult just to hop on and get online games going, because I can't see this game as being one of those ones where everybody runs out and picks it up and the community is real big. In fact, I went into the PlayStation Store and the game really only had a few ratings, and usually that means that it didn't sell very well. Now, you can't always go by that, but it does give you a general idea of how many people purchase the game. The graphics look pretty standard. The destructible environments are pretty cool, but again, everything is just so small that even though the graphics are good, they're so far back and everything's so little that you kind of lose interest with things. The controls are a bit sluggish because you're basically controlling a lion. It almost moves kind of like a dog that it has to kind of gallop around, so just turning and moving around is just a little sluggish, and the aiming controls are a little bit off. Not so much with when you're pointing your analog or where you want to shoot, but when you're actually pouncing on enemies. When you try to pounce on an enemy, sometimes it'll grab the wrong one or it won't pounce where you want it to. And again, that's just a kind of a small nitpick, but it's still there. The old school cutscenes from the 1984 cartoon, which is what this game is based off of, they're kind of lame in my opinion. I was hitting the button to skip every one that I came across because I just didn't want to watch it. Now, if you're a fan of Voltron, don't even listen to what I got to say. I mean, you guys just need to go pick this game up. But if you're not like real big on Voltron and you're not a fan of the comic books and the newer cartoon series that's out, there's better online shooters that you can play where you can play online and that are just fun. To be honest with you, they're more fun. Now, this game does have different characters that you can choose from. They do have all kinds of different statistics like long range, short range, their agility, how they move and that type of stuff, armor piercing. But to be honest, I didn't like this game. I can't recommend it for you guys to go pick it up. That's just my opinion. Some of you guys might like it. I'm sure it's going to get a decent review because there's nothing physically broken with the game, but again, I just didn't like it. This is Zero at ReviewZoneHD, and I'll be bringing you guys more soon.